I've went ahead and cut some heat shrink here. Doesn't show it in the plans, but I actually heat shrink all my joints between my motors and my ESCs. So we're going to go ahead and start that process. I'm going to show you a couple of little tricks that I talked about to keep your wires from chafing and or binding while mounting your motor mounts, motor mounting plates to your motor mounts, and running that your ESC wire and motor wire. It's going to be one of our first motors. This is going to be a regularly wired motor mount, red, yellow, yellow, black, black. I generally slide my heat shrink on here on the motor end. You don't have to push it all the way on. Your other end will fit back in there. This size heat shrink fits very tight. Now, sorry, I can't tell you what size. You can go a little bigger if you want. I have to do this that way. I don't have to put so much heat on the heat shrink that it fit fairly snug on its own. We want to keep emphasizing our top motor. Not that it really matters at this point. Okay, I'm going to skip, the reason I'm doing this point in this build is I want to show how to run this wiring out here and not bend the wiring as it comes out under the motor mount. So what I do is I take the 3 wires and get them laying flat in here all the way out. And what my goal is when I make this bend to lay the motor mounting plate here on the motor mount, I want my cross, and I want these wires crossing under here. I don't want them crossing under here at all. I want to keep them in a straight line just like they are. I think I'm a little bit anal here trying to line up my heat shrink, but you want that. So what I'm trying to do here is make the wires cross out here, outside here. I don't want, by the wire guard protector, and it also keeps the wires off of the edge of the carbon motor mounting plate. So yeah, if you'll see the 3 wires, they're not crossing in there. They come out, they cross out here. So we're going to do 2 booms with the red, all colors of the wires just going to one another, and then we're going to do 2 booms with the wires, the red and yellow wires crossed. So with that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and shut the camera off for now and put all the motors on. Just remember to cross your wires out here, not under the motor. Heat shrink each joint. If we look from the bottom, I'll get these up out of the way. I don't know if you can see that or not, but our wiring runs straight through in there. No bends. Just flush, even across there. And the heat shrink tubing actually hits against this carbon plate. The extra, that few thousandths we put on there, and makes this wiring at a height to where the motor shaft we keep discussing here, that center motor shaft, can't get up and contact any of our wiring. It's a safety shield. It gives us that little extra height as well, so that's very, very handy. And we're not binding anything that way. So I'll cut this off, mount all the rest of our motors on. one thing before I do, I forgot, so I'm going to cover now. I think I did cover this earlier, but you know, there's 3 bolts in each motor, and you'll have one here on this side, and then on the bottom side of the same side, you'll have the 2 there. It makes 2 triangles, a triangle here, then a reverse triangle on the bottom. It's kind of scary, but it makes a 6-point pentagram. I think it's a Jewish star, or whatever, if you imagine the 2 triangles at the bolts. Okay, so let's get that done, and I'll be back.